What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. I am Mistress Carrie, and it's 8:30 in Boston, and that means it's time for a cocktail. We do it each and every Tuesday night at 8:30, a tradition that is now 105 episodes long because we started way back on March 14th when we were doing Cocktails in the War Room every night because we needed cocktails every night. And now we do it every week. So thank you for joining me each and every Tuesday. With me, as always, is my co-host, Wednesday the Goth Pug, who is, oh no, I just pulled the leg off the pig. Wednesday, come here, hold on, we can't, give me that, hold on, Wednesday, come here, give me that. We just pulled look at the poor pig. We just pulled the leg and the arm off. Will you let me fix it? The penis is still on the pig though. See? Can I fix the pig first before? Oh my God, guys, this is the show. This is what's going to happen tonight. She literally 5 seconds in, she pulls the leg off the pig, and now, can I have it back, please? So can I fix your toy, please? Wednesday, can I fix it? No, let me fix it. Let me fix it. Stop. She's looking at me like, oh my God, will you let me fix the fucking pig? This is why sometimes it's hard to get guests on the show because it's such a professional production. How are you? Paula says penis pig. Exactly. How are you guys? How are you guys holding up? Are you good? How are you guys? Talk amongst yourselves while I'm trying to fix the fucking pig. Wednesday, can I? It like crisscrosses. So like you could play tug of war with it. So it's like the arm and the leg, and they cross through the body. And now we have a one-armed, one-legged pig here in the war room. So there you go. She didn't kill the pig. It's just maimed temporarily until... Do you want to play with the stingray? There you go. Play with the fucking stingray so I can fix the pig. No. Here, take this. Take that. Oh, she is wound up tonight. Holy crap. It's good to see you guys. Thank you, guys. Oh, my poor little guy, she says. The more you pull on it, the better it gets, says David. Last time being here as an M? What does that mean, Joe? I don't understand what that means. Trina, get back. Just got back from vacation on Sunday. Congratulations, Jared. What's going on equals. Heinz, nice. A reference to this week's podcast. I love that. Wait, there we go. Hey, that's better. I don't know where she went. So cheers. Moscow Mules tonight. We couldn't drink last week with Brad Arnold joining us for Mocktails in the War Room. So this is going to taste good. So good. Let's see. Yep, the ducking stingray, Ron. Did you give her coffee today? I did not, Michael, give her coffee. I don't know why she is so wound up, but she is totally wound up today. So, Carrie, did you listen to the AC/DC? Jeff wants to know. Yeah. Is it only me? Is it because it's 2020? It's so good to hear new AC/DC music. Was it just me? Did you guys love it? Because I loved it. Love it still. But I'm just trying to figure out if 2020 has lowered the bar to the point where I'm just so excited that it's AC/DC music. Do you guys agree with me that it's really good? I think it's great. And Angus, when he's been doing interviews recently, has been getting really emotional and choked up talking about his brother. And Mark says, Carrie, you got the devil in your eyes tonight. I do? Why do I have the devil in my eyes, I wonder? I don't know. I'm good. I feel good. I'm happy today. Let me see. So good, AC/DC. AC/DC new music kicks ass, said Elsa. Brian Johnson was what I needed, says Mark. The new AC/DC is awesome, says Karen. Amanda says, no, I love hearing AC/DC. Best early birthday present, listening to AC/DC and seeing you. Oh, thanks, Ron. I appreciate that. Sounds like classic AC/DC. I totally agree with you guys. And when you look at everything that happened, the retirements, the drug problems, the problems with the law, Brian Johnson's hearing problems, Axl Rose coming in and out of the band, Obviously, the death and the announcement of the death of Malcolm Young. We had been talking about AC/DC recording this record in secret in Canada, and they had been photographed coming in and out of the recording studio. It was the worst kept secret in rock and roll. And yet, when it finally happened, they weren't surprised, but it was almost like a relief that the rumors were true. And now that the AC/DC is out, I mean, think about it. We got new System of a Down for the first time in 15 years. We got new AC/DC. The Foo Fighters have a new record coming out. I mean, the Deftones came out with a record. There's new Sevendus. There's so much great new music out there right now. And it's such a breath of fresh air. Devil Driver released a new record this year. Smith & Myers released a new record. Corey Taylor's solo record. 2020 has sucked balls. But we have had some amazing music come out that has really kind of, at least for me, really helped me kind of deal with a lot of it. So I hope that you guys are kind of feeling the same way. I know the 40th anniversary of Back in Black. Think about all of the 50th anniversaries. Aerosmith, Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, Jay Giles, WAAF this year. I mean, it has been an amazing year in music and in celebrating music, even though the year has been awful and we haven't been able to celebrate the music the way that we wanted to by going to concerts. So Mark says 2021 might not suck after all. Well, that's one of the things we're going to talk about. I have a lot of things that I want to talk to you guys about. There's a lot of great news coming out. We definitely have reasons to be happy and to celebrate. Alter Bridge, thank you, Mike. Alter Bridge music coming out. Let's see. Heinz, I'm so glad that you are digging the Saul brothers. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about. But the first thing I wanted to do is check in with you guys. This week, the family kind of made the decision about how we're going to handle Thanksgiving and possibly Christmas. I don't know how you guys are planning on handling the holiday stuff, but it's obvious that, the virus is kind of altering people's holiday plans. I don't know if you guys saw the article that I sent out on Twitter earlier today. I read this article from, I think it's North Dakota, where they were interviewing healthcare professionals who are heartbroken because what's been happening in North Dakota is the denial of the virus has been horrible. And right now, 50% of the people that get tested for COVID in North Dakota are testing positive. And they were interviewing healthcare workers because they were talking about people that are in the hospital dying of COVID, denying that the virus is real while they're dying from it. And they were talking to these healthcare professionals who are trying to rationalize with these sick people that are dying, asking them, do you want to call your family? Do you want to call your family? Do you want to say goodbye to your friends? Who can we FaceTime for you or whatever? And that the healthcare workers are being yelled at that the virus isn't real. And they said people are dying and refusing to call their families because they are in complete denial that they're going to die from it. And some people's last words have been yelling at the healthcare professionals that how can this be happening? The virus isn't real. And that's how people are dying right now, in denial and they're dying angry. And it's taking a toll on the healthcare workers. And I read this article today, and that's why I put it up on my Twitter feed, because I was like, I understand people have been affected differently. And obviously, Cocktails in the War Room partly came out of the fact that WAAF went off the air, but partly because we were all kind of locked in our houses. And I couldn't imagine, then imagine being that nurse, right? Getting yelled at and having someone be angry at you because they're dying of COVID. And then they die and you have to call the family, and the family's then yelling at you like, well, why didn't you let us talk to them? Why didn't you let us say goodbye? And that nurse then has to say, because they didn't want to call anybody because they were telling us that the virus isn't real and that they weren't going to die from this. And then they died. And so, there's so many members of my family that are immunocompromised, that have battled cancer, that are diabetic, people that are really, really worried about this thing, people that didn't even come to my wedding over the summer because they were so worried, or some that stayed in the car and just watched from outside because they were so afraid. So I don't know about you guys, and I know the comments are going crazy, but we've decided to kind of do a bubble Thanksgiving with just the people that are here in my bubble, and then, try to do like a bonfire for some of the family to be able to kind of get together outdoors safely at a distance, just so that we can see each other and, try to have some kind of family memory and some kind of way to celebrate the holiday, but being so careful about what's going on. Brianna says solo Thanksgiving, just me and the pups and a turkey dinner. I saw the post. Let me see. I hope you have somebody over. I'm going to have the people that are in my bubble, my mom, my sister. Tracy says no Thanksgiving here. Mark says, my brother David died 2 days ago from COVID. It's fucking real. Oh my God, Mark, I am so sorry. It's unbelievable. I know that there is such fatigue, and I know people are tired of hearing about it, and they're tired of talking about it, and they're tired of dealing with it. And that was one of the reasons why we all started getting together in the war room. One of the reasons why we all started getting together here in the war room was to be a support group for each other and to talk through these things. Danielle says, I'm not doing Thanksgiving this year. It's too risky. Donna says, I have a family member that tested positive. They're asymptomatic. If they don't develop symptoms by Friday, they should be in the clear. That's great news, Donna. Yeah, it's just... It's so crazy that to think that we have been meeting together like this in the war room since March, and that we've been dealing with this in a major way here since March. Obviously, COVID, people were dealing with it much before that, but and now we're in the holiday season and we're trying to figure out how we're going to navigate this. And, it just, my heart goes out to Mark, and my heart goes out to everybody else that is struggling, and not just with the virus, but, that looks forward to the holidays and is really looking for any reason. I saw so many people, I don't know about you guys, but I saw so many people that already have their Christmas trees up just because they're looking for something to bring joy. And the kids wanted to put the tree up early, and they just wanted to have the lights, and they wanted to be happy. Debbie says, my mother's assisted living facility, 8 people have died in the last month. So the only thing that I can say is, however your family is choosing to deal with this around the holidays, whether they choose to do, the bubble like I'm doing, which is just super small. I mean, usually, there's 30 people around the table for Thanksgiving with my family, and now it's going to be like 3. Mark says, and my mom got diagnosed with lupus today. Oh my God, Mark, I'm so sorry. Tracy says, my boyfriend's mom went to Seattle for 2 weeks, so she quarantined for 2 weeks, so no Thanksgiving. In-laws are just getting over COVID, and the family is in the next state, can't travel, and it sucks, says Amanda. It's just, just take a deep breath. Heather says, my tree is up, Nintendo themed. I don't care if you put your Christmas stuff up now. Cheeriness is a great thing right now. Yeah, usually I'm motherfucking people that have their Christmas stuff up after Halloween, but before Thanksgiving. Like, usually it pisses me off, and this year I'm giving you a pass. So if you want to put your tree up, go ahead. Joe says 2020 has been a year that you can't make fun of people for putting up their Christmas decorations. I totally agree, Joe. It's like we are being thrown out on Thanksgiving by one that thinks COVID is fake, said Michelle. Well, here's the deal. What I've realized is that by this point, if people are denying it, there's nothing that you are going to be able to do to convince them of it. And, this is something that comes up all the time. If you guys are listening to the podcast episodes, I understand how some people have it and don't even know and don't have symptoms, and they don't know anybody that suffered from it. They don't know anybody that's died. I can understand how if they're just looking at this micro view of the world through just the lens that they can see in their own world, how it can look like that. And obviously with the internet and propaganda and people hearing about people that have died and it wasn't COVID related, but it was listed as a COVID thing. And I understand that misinformation and people can think things are exaggerated. And obviously the virus has been politicized. But it's like, at this point, it's like trying to deny cancer. It's like, how do you not know somebody that's been affected by it at this point? I mean, I know so many people that have been affected by it that it's hard for me to imagine people not having anyone that's been affected in their social circle, that don't know someone that they're friends with on Facebook that hasn't lost a loved one, that don't know someone that got really, really sick and is still suffering from the side effects. And I don't know. Heinz asks a great question. And Heinz wants to know, will there be Mistress Carrie Christmas ornaments? Heinz, that was one of the things I was going to show you tonight. We are in the final stages of the construction of mistresscarrie.com and the online store. People that have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass have already seen these, but I brought it in tonight because I wanted to spread a little Christmas cheer. So, yes, there are Mistress Carrie Christmas ornaments. They come in purple and they come in black. I have both. They will both be up for sale in the online store when we launch the website. And we are really, really close right now. We're setting up the shipping stuff for the website. I have been uploading all of the podcast episodes up on the website. I am in the middle, if you have a Backstage Pass, in the middle of putting the Cocktails in the War Room episodes up on the website. By the way, this is number 105, so that is no small task. I have been slowly building the artist archive photo gallery that's going on the website. We're close to getting the website up. And so yes, Heinz, thank you for bringing it up. I brought it in here to show it to you guys. But yes, there are. And we tried really hard. What do you guys think? We tried really hard to get the color right. I mean, seriously, it's pretty fucking close. Who doesn't want an ornament that's the color of my head on their Christmas tree? So, yes, these are going to be available in the store. And I was hoping that I was going to be able to tell you tonight exactly when the site was going to launch, but I don't want to make any promises that I can't keep. But we are at a breakneck pace right now, trying to get it up before the holiday, before Thanksgiving. And we're working on it. And I say you nailed it, says Renee. Thank you very much. Very close, says Tracy. Perfect, says Mark. Match is perfect. So we're so close, guys. I know I keep telling you guys it's coming. It's close. It's close. It's close. But I can't tell you. I mean, listen, we've been getting together since March, right? You guys have been with me here in the War Room through everything. You've been with me through the launching of my company, the construction of MCHQ, the launch of the podcast, switching Cocktails in the War Room to a weekly show and not just a nightly show, getting the technology to be able to put graphics on the screens, being able to bring guests into the War Room. It hasn't been easy, getting Christine at Latini Creative to design all of the artwork, getting Brian at Whirlwind to make the original Cocktails in the War Room t-shirts. It has been a collective effort, and I cannot overstate the fact that it has been extremely difficult to do during a pandemic. For many reasons, not being able to get stuff produced in time, having, difficulties getting things installed in the studio, getting all these mechanisms in place. And we are so close. Will you ever link your store on Amazon? Michelle, let me get the website up. Let me get the website up. And then we can talk about linking it to Amazon. Like, all I can do is tell you guys baby steps. And um, I'm working on it, and it's coming. I'm waiting on a package from Brian from Whirlwind. I have to pick the final um, design of, not the design, they're designed already, but I have to pick the actual girls t-shirts, because this time we're not just making guys standard t-shirts, but we're making girls fitted t-shirts. And girls, guys, you have it easy, but girls t-shirts, sometimes they're not long enough in the torso. Sometimes they're too baggy. Sometimes they're too tight. They just don't fit right. And, guys, it's like t-shirt sizes are pretty standard. Girls t-shirts, you want to make sure that the fit is right. And I don't want to make anything that isn't going to be something I want to wear myself. So Brian is sending me a sample pack of girls t-shirts and also the hoodies. And the final approval of which t-shirts we're going to print on and which hoodies we're going to print on is coming this week. And then the order is going in. The design of the hoodies is done. I know you guys keep asking me about them. The designs of the new cocktails and the WarRoom shirts are done. The new slogan that's coming on the back. Here's what sucks, okay? For the OG cocktails in the WarRoom t-shirt people, when we made those t-shirts to benefit the Mass Military Support Foundation, and we printed 800 of them, we retired that slogan because part of the reason was I wanted the original WarRoom people to be able to differentiate themselves. But we also retired it because I thought by now we would have already taken a next step in the recovery from COVID, and that the slogan wouldn't really make sense moving forward. I was fucking wrong. But I promised you guys that I was going to change the slogan on the back, so we changed it. I asked the people in the WarRoom. I asked Facebook. I asked you guys what you wanted the new slogan to be. I think you guys are going to love it. The shirts are designed. I can tell you that the hoodies are going to have purple flames up the sleeves, which I'm super excited about. And we went back and forth about the flames. Jonathan says, yeah, us tall guys need extra long shirts. I totally get it. Picking out the actual shirt and the fit of that shirt and getting the design to look right on it, and also trying to source as much made in the USA stuff as I can, and trying to source veteran made stuff is something I'm also doing. I can't promise that everything I make is going to be made in the US or produced by veterans, but I can tell you that every opportunity that I can find to do that, I'm doing it. So it's been crazy, but we are in the final stretch right now. The items for the website have been photographed, including the Christmas ornaments. I'll show you guys one more thing just because I have it in here. Again, if you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you already know, but there's mouse pads for your home office, so your home office will rock. And they're antibacterial treated. We actually found mouse pads that have this stuff in them, because you know how gross your desk can get sometimes. I know how gross the mouse pads were in the old AAF studio. These are treated with this antibacterial stuff to keep your office clean. So there's some really cool stuff coming. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew how appreciative that I am, that you guys have been as patient as you have been. Mike says, how about laminates so people don't lose their IDs? And we're in the home stretch, guys. I am hoping next week that I am going to be able to make an announcement on exactly when the website is going live. I will also tell you that people with the Backstage Pass are going to find out early, and they are also going to be given a discount code to be able to shop in the store at a discount. Because I promised that people with a Backstage Pass were going to be able to do that. And we'll talk about the Backstage Pass coming up. So there's a lot of exciting stuff happening, and it's all happening really, really fast. And I'm not going to lie, I'm really stressed out about it. I don't understand all of the things that are at play with the computer system. I can tell you that we're not going to use PayPal to process the credit card orders, that I actually got my company certified with an actual credit card processing company. And so if you didn't have a PayPal account or you found it cumbersome to use PayPal, ordering the original cocktails and the WarRoom shirts, You'll be able to just shop, put it in your shopping cart, process the credit card. But getting everything from you going on the website, placing an order, processing your credit card, me getting your order, the website keeping an inventory of what I have and notifying me when we're short on things, processing the order, packing it all up, shipping it out to you, being able to print all of the labels, and then moving all of the money around. The idea of that, I know that there are so many people that do e-commerce stuff, but this is so new to me that I'm literally losing sleep over it right now because I don't want anything to go wrong. And so we are in the final stages of getting the website up. And then over the next few days, once everything is on there and perfect, we're going to start the beta testing of it. And then I'll be able to tell you guys when it's done. Joe, I don't know about the pajama party yet. I keep asking. I don't know yet. I'm hoping maybe around the holidays because, everybody wears like Christmas PJs around the holidays. I'm thinking maybe if I could get Danielle to put on some Christmas PJs and we can have the pajama party. I will tell you this. I don't want to tell you tonight, but I'll tell you next week. I got approval today, or I got the confirmation today. There is an awesome guest coming in the WarRoom on December 1st. I'm not going to tell you who it is yet. I'm going to tell you next week, but I'm really excited about it. And so I'm working on it, but there's a really cool guest coming in a couple weeks, but December 1st, you're not going to want to miss Cocktails in the WarRoom because it's going to be awesome. So there you go. Are the flames still masculine enough? Guys may not want to wear that much purple. Brianna, don't you worry about it, baby. We went back and forth about the flames, and they are cool flames. They are not girly flames. They are badass flames. And the purple is dark enough where it's not such a neon color that guys aren't going to want to wear it, because that was something that we took into account, that I want to make sure guys want to wear it and also the girls are going to want to wear them. So we asked a lot of opinions, including Brian, who produces and prints this stuff all the time. And he said the flames are good to go from a dude's perspective. So I think we're good. So don't you worry about it. But I appreciate you looking out for the dudes because we got to make sure that everybody wants to wear this stuff. So Penny, yeah, you're good. You don't have to use PayPal. You're going to be able to shop with your credit card right on the website, just like everybody else. When is Sully going to be here? Mark wants to know soon. He has promised me that he's going to come on the podcast and we're going to get him in the WarRoom as well. I just don't know exactly when yet. There's a lot of stuff going on. So let's talk about the podcast, shall we? Let's do the recap of last week's episode 23, featuring Blake Bedsall from Saul. Like we did with Aaron Jones, I love the fact that you guys are open and willing to give a chance to a new band that you may not have heard of. And when I see that you guys are downloading and listening to and streaming these episodes of the podcast that feature artists that you have not heard before, it makes me really happy that you guys are adventurous enough and open-minded enough where you're like, I don't even know who the hell this guy is, but I want to listen to it. So I want to know what you guys thought about episode 23. Michelle, thank you for the question. My hubby is doing good. We actually we were able to talk for a good amount of time today and are pretty excited. Melissa says corn porn. Obviously she listened to it. Heinz says they kicked ass. Danielle says, I love the podcast last week. He was a cool dude. Jeff says yes to the new bands. Amanda says, I love the episode. Been listening to Saul while working. They are awesome. I'm so glad that you guys loved it. I had never met him before. I thought his story about growing up in Iowa and, growing up on the farm and, dealing with the corn and earning the money to buy his first amp. And I was shocked by a few things in the episode. I was shocked to hear that his brother died of H1N1, which when we're in a time of COVID-19, when so many more people are sick from it, to hear him talking about the fact that his brother died of something that we don't even think about that many people dying of, really made me sad. Ron wants to know, Gary Sharon from Extreme at some point on the podcast. Yes, that Gary's definitely coming on. I don't care if I got to go to his house and stick a microphone through the window. It's totally happening. Corn porn needs to go into the dictionary, says Melissa. I totally agree. That is going to be something that gets built into the website as well, is the dictionary, which is all of the slang terms and all of the inside jokes and the terminology that we have established here in the War Room and in the podcast as well. So I totally agree. Michelle says, I got my husband hooked. Why would you have a kid on the same day as your interview? Wait, what, Keith? I don't. Oh, yeah, because Blake's brother, who's also in the band, was busy having a baby, which was totally crazy. Annette, I would love to have Nuno on, and it's totally going to happen. Jen, I would love to have John Bon Jovi on. He is on a very short list of rock stars that I have never met. And I don't know if I would be able to contain my inner 80s fangirl if I got to talk to John Bon Jovi. I've never even interviewed him. I was actually promised this year when they came to the Garden that I was going to be able to go, and that I had some friends that were going to get me into the meet and greet so I could meet him. And then obviously it got canceled. So Ron says full Fernandez. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a full book, says Jeff. I know. Hi, Anthony. I love you too. Frank, I know Nuno would do it. And I'm going to ask him. He was great. The last couple of days of AAF being on the air and getting him on to talk about the old days of AAF was awesome. And I would love to talk to Nuno just to talk about how he's doing. And same thing with Gary. It's like, there's so many people that I want to talk to in the podcast. And the good thing is, the podcast is moving right along, and I'm really excited about the interviews we've already done, including this week. So once again, thank you guys for giving the guys from Saul a chance. Like I always tell you guys, when it comes to these new bands, especially because there isn't a launch pad for them in the region anymore, meaning there isn't WAF to help play these guys and to help break them. That is something that we can all do together. And so if you've got friends that love new rock bands and discovering new music, send them the episode. The bands and the record companies watch things like streams, which is why I always make a podcast playlist for every episode and link it in the show notes, because when all of a sudden the streams of bands start popping up in places, they can directly correlate it back to them getting added to the playlist of a radio station, or in this case, a podcast interview in a place where there's no other way that people could have heard of the band before. So share the music, share the podcast episodes. If you're in online communities and you're on Reddit or whatever it is that you're doing, share these podcast episodes, tell your friends about these bands, because we really do have the opportunity as a rock community in this region and around the country. There's people watching here in the War Room from all around the country. And there's obviously people listening to the podcast, not only all around the country, but all around the world. And we have an ability as a community to wrap our arms around these bands and be able to kind of claim them as our own and grow with them. And that's one of the most exciting things that we can do, is not only continue to support the bands that we love, that we've known for years, but to find these new bands and be able to help them. I just love the idea that we're able to do that. Now, one of the things that we talked about in episode 23, Blake Bedsall talked about the passing of his mom. And, we talked about a couple things. We talked about collaborating and working with David Draymond from Disturbed in writing music, especially doing it remotely over the internet. And then we also talked about the passing of the Saul brothers' mom. And if you listen to episode 23, you remember that person that was working with Blake at the time that gave him that shrewd advice about getting home and being with his mom because family comes first was Morgan Rose from Sevendus. And I am pleased to tell you that this week, episode 24 of the Mistress Carrie podcast is Morgan Rose from Sevendus. And you guys need to buckle up and you guys need to make some time to listen to this episode, because this one is a long one. When I tell you guys that this is one of my favorite episodes so far, I'm not kidding. There are a couple things you need to know about this episode. The first thing you need to know is Morgan and I, the last time we did an official interview was the last day that AAF was on the air. And after we got done on the air, Morgan and I spent another 45 minutes crying, basically, on the phone, talking about AAF being done. Morgan and I have been keeping in touch all summer. We've been texting, we've been on the phone. I knew he was working on this solo record that he has coming out at the end of the month, but he swore me to secrecy. He sent me the demos to the songs, but I couldn't talk about it because I promised him that I wouldn't. So the fact that, Morgan and I were able to reconnect in an official way was amazing. The next thing you guys need to know is that the interview you guys are listening to, which launches at midnight tonight, by the way, it's a 3-hour podcast. I could not cut anything out of it for a couple of reasons. One, when you hear it, I have talked to Morgan. He and I have been friends for over 22 years. And I say this in the podcast episode. I have known Morgan for a really long time, and we have been friends. I am honored to call him a friend for a really long time. We've been through a lot together. Morgan talked about things in this episode that I did not know about him. He has never given an interview that I have heard that is this personal, that is this candid, that is this raw. I applaud him for being as open and honest and forthright as he is in this interview. And we talked about, it was like a therapy session, like we do here in the War Room, only more. I could not bring myself to shorten the episode. I thought about cutting it in half and releasing it as 2 episodes. But any of the natural places where I could break the episode in half, it just didn't make sense. The other thing you guys need to know about this episode is that while we were recording it, the cable company was outside and I didn't know because I was locked in MCHQ. And there was a guy up on the bucket truck doing something to the cable lines, and he kept unplugging the internet to MCHQ. And so Morgan and I recorded a 3-hour podcast interview that took 8 hours to record because the internet kept getting disconnected. And then I would text Morgan and be like, I need you to give me 20 minutes. And he's like, honey, don't worry about it. I'm here. Just let me know when you want to reconnect. And I use a system that allows me to look at the person when people have the ability to sit down in front of a computer with a camera and do that. Otherwise, there have been people like Brad Arnold or Des from Devil Driver that were like, we have to do it on the phone because I'm not going to be able to sit down in front of a camera. Morgan and I were looking at each other and then we were texting. And I should have taken screen grabs of some of the text messages because he was texting going, this is fucking hilarious. Sevendus has always had as saying about 24/7 dust when it comes to the partying of the band back in the day or just anything that could go wrong. It just is going to go wrong for Sevendus. And I could not cut this interview up. The only editing that was done for this episode, and you will hear it in the episode, is that I put a sound effect of static in when the cable got disconnected so that you could hear what happened and then the giggling and the laughing when it got turned back on and the interview continued. Now, one of the other things that's really funny that you don't hear about in the interview, but something that's behind the scenes that I wanted to tell you guys about. So this service that I use to record the audio is kind of like Zoom, kind of like WebEx, except it's made specifically to record high quality audio. It's made for the purpose that I use it for, so that it really does sound like I'm sitting with the person. And based on the acoustics of the room that the person's sitting in, sometimes it's a little echoey, but a lot of time the audio quality is really, really good. The last time we got disconnected, I couldn't tell Morgan how long it was going to be. So Morgan didn't X out of the session, and he ran nearby to go to the gym to work out and was waiting for me to text him to say, okay, my internet's back on. We can finish the interview now. So my internet came back And I texted Morgan and I was like, hey, we can finish now. And he's like, baby, I'm at the gym. Can you give me like 30? And I was like, sure. So I entered the session again, and Morgan had left the session running, which meant I could see into Morgan's house, and he wasn't home. And so he's like running on the treadmill at the gym down the street. And I'm texting him, telling him, I'm looking into your living room right now. I can see your fireplace, And then I was like, somebody's breaking into your house. Like I started fucking with him. But he left this open on camera on the internet. So I'm sitting in MCHQ texting Morgan going, I'm just looking at your living room. The picture over the fireplace is crooked. So this episode is amazing for a couple of reasons. One, because Morgan was so open and honest and generous with what he was willing to talk about, and what he didn't say no to anything. And I told him, I said, listen, I'm going to ask you personal questions, but you can obviously handle them any way you want. And if it's something that's too personal and you don't want to talk about it, just don't talk about it. He didn't say that at all about anything. And I think you're going to learn some things about me in there too. There were a couple things that I said that I've never talked about before. And I thought about, should I take that out of there? And I couldn't in good conscience do that because Morgan was so open. And I felt like it would do a disservice to him by me cutting out some of the personal things that I talked about. So this episode is, it's funny. It's raw. It's angry. It is sad. It's vulnerable. It's frustrating. It is every emotion. And I think when you listen to it, you are going to go on that ride with us. And one of the things I really hope that you guys get out of this episode is that you hear the genuine appreciation that he and I have for each other. And the commitment that we have to each other to want to help each other out in any way that we can, which has been over 20 years now. There's definitely some funny stories in there that we may or may not have talked about. And we were able to talk about them in a way that we never could on the air before, because obviously, we couldn't be as candid and use the language that is required in sometimes. So if you are a Sevendus fan, if you have a Sevendus fan in the family or somebody that if you're a drummer, you need to listen to this episode. I couldn't love this episode more. It was a chore. I'm telling you, I was near tears because the cable guy, I have had some technical difficulties in the past, and I really felt like I have got the podcast down to a point where I believe the audio quality is really good. I believe the editing of it, the producing of it is really good. And I have had to learn a lot of new skills that I never had to know before doing all of this. And so I've really been working hard to make sure that the level of the quality of this is just as good as these professional podcasters that have a staff. And I was so upset that the interview kept getting interrupted. And I would have been hysterical in tears over it if it wasn't with somebody that has known me for so long. And Morgan was like, Carrie, don't even fucking worry about it. I'm here. This is fucking hysterical. I literally will never forget this interview for the rest of my life. So, I can't wait for you to hear it. It's so long that when I was uploading it, because it's all produced and ready to go, when I was uploading it onto the site to get it scheduled to go live, it took an extra amount of, like, you guys got to understand, when I produce the sit rep, it's 5 minutes long. So it's like you produce it, you get the MP3, you pop it up, and it's like, bink, loaded, ready to go. The Morgan one was like this is going to take a while. And I'm looking at the status bar and I'm like, Jesus, this thing is really long. Travis says Morgan loves pugs, if I remember correctly. He does, actually. And that's one of the only things we didn't fucking talk about, because we talked about literally everything else. I got my first tattoo while the tattoo artist was listening to Sevendus, says Thomas. That's awesome. I know a huge Sevendus fan who would be all over this podcast. Eric, please share it. one of the things that you guys have been amazing with is when you share these podcast episodes, it exposes, I literally bumped into a guy today. I told you guys this many times. When I know we're going to be in the war room, I always make sure that I go and check the mail. When I leave the house, I use it as an excuse to go to Dunks. And I use it as an excuse because I try not to leave the house as much as possible. And so if I'm going to leave the house, I leave the house. And I get as much stuff done as I can, and then I come home. And I bumped into a guy literally today that was like, oh my God, Mistress Carrie, I miss AAF so much. Everybody at the DPW misses you. What are you doing now? He had no idea about the podcast because it hadn't gotten to him yet, whether it be on social media. He hadn't heard about it. So when you guys share these episodes on your social media accounts, and when you send them to friends like this one, where you're like, dude, I know what a diehard Sevendus fan you are. You got to listen to this. There are so many people in the AAF family that still don't know about my podcast, that still don't know that I'm up and running doing this, that don't know about Mike Shu's podcast. Like, you guys are helping us so much by spreading the word and sharing these episodes on your Twitter, on your Instagram, on your Facebook. You know, if you are a fan club of a band and you go into their message boards or Reddit or anything like that, share these links. You guys have no idea how helpful that is, because once someone listens to one of these episodes with an artist that they love, you know, when you discover a new podcast, you go through all the old episodes to see if there's anything else you're interested in. And I can see when new people come in, then they go through and they're like, oh, I love Morgan Rose. I'll listen to that one. Oh, wait, I love Tommy Vex from Bad Wolves. I'll listen to that one. Oh my God, she had Corey Taylor on. I'll listen to that one. Hey, Kevin Martin from Candlebox was on. And then it brings them in, and then they listen to the podcast and they go, wait a minute, what's she doing in the war room? And then it brings people into the war room. So if anybody's new to the war room tonight, can you chime in on the comments? Because I'm always curious. I always take for granted that we're all this war room family that's been together this whole time, but we're always bringing new people in. So if you're new, let us know so we can welcome you properly. I would love that. Kevin says, funny why the video has stopped, but the audio keeps going. Great story. What does that mean? I don't even know what that means. Thank you, longtime listener, but new here. Awesome, Richie. See, that's what I'm talking about. The word is getting out slow. Brian says, been here since the beginning. That's the thing. It's like the people that got in here early, there's so many people that still don't know. And I am shocked when I bump into people and they're like, I miss you on the radio. What are you doing now? And when I tell them about the podcast, they don't know. And so I love the fact that we're bringing in new people all the time. So you guys are awesome. Can we get Josh Dolan on the show? Oh my God. Yeah, we got to get Josh. You know what? I'm going to reach out to Josh for sure. I would love to have Josh on. The thing that sucks is that I can only bring in one guest at a time in the war room through Skype. So otherwise, I would love to try and get a bunch of the AAFers together, but I'm limited with how I can do it. Welcome, new peeps that just joined, says Amanda. Let me see. Been around since day one. Thank you very much, Eric. She won't invite him, says Jonathan. I would totally invite Josh Dolan. I love Josh. I just forgot to invite him to the wedding because I suck. I'm so sorry. I still feel really bad. So anyway, I cannot wait for you guys to listen to this episode. Speaking of the podcast. Oh, and by the way, hold on. Once again, I want to thank the new sponsor of the podcast, DCU, Digital Federal Credit Union, DCU.org. The fact that they are they're such believers in me and everything that I'm doing. Last week was the first week that DCU joined in with the podcast and sponsoring the podcast. And I'm just so excited that they are part of this and want to continue the partnership that we've had for 10 years plus. And so I'm just so grateful to DCU and Latini Creative Solutions for sponsoring this week's episode of the podcast and moving forward sponsoring the podcast because, you guys know I've worked through everything, coming out and doing this on my own and having to start everything from scratch, and then getting word that an organization like DCU is throwing their support and their sponsorship behind it and partnering with me means the world. And I hope you guys don't think that I'm just kissing their ass because they're sponsors now. The companies and the organizations that have jumped in such an early stage in the new future that I'm charting a course for shows that they really want to be supportive. I don't know if DCU has ever sponsored a podcast before. And so I'm just honored that they're part of the podcast. And so I just want to thank DCU and Latini Creative Solutions for sponsoring episode 24 of the Mistress Carrie podcast. So there you go. The sit rep continues. I want to make sure that you guys know that Monday through Friday, you can get all your headlines and music, all the rock news, the entertainment industry info, and you get it all in under 5 minutes. So if you want to keep up to date on everything that's going on, but you don't have time to be surfing through Twitter and going online and trying to research all the news, if you listen to my radio show back in the day and you liked all of the music headlines, you can get it all in a podcast. So if you subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast, you will just get all of this stuff. And if you haven't yet, just click subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, which is a lot of places right now that you can get it. And I'm going to be announcing some more outlets very soon. So Apple, Google, Spotify, radio.com, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Deezer, Overcast, TuneIn, Pandora, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Amazon, and our friends in India, JioSaavn and Ghana, and also Player FM. So just click subscribe or follow or whatever these podcast outlets call it, but just click the button. And if you don't mind, also, the reviews are huge. The way that these podcast outlets and their algorithms work, the more people you get to click subscribe, the more people that give you good reviews and leave comments, the more you show up in the algorithms, and then the more people find out about the podcast. So you guys help out a lot when you listen to the episodes, when you share them, when you subscribe, when you give 5-star reviews, when you leave comments. You have no idea how helpful that is. And so I love you for that. We are still holding strong at 95 countries listening to the Mistress Carrie podcast. And it's unbelievable. So thank you guys. It's unreal. I still can't believe it. It's so cool. Okay. One of the things that I want to do, which is new to Cocktails in the War Room, is Mistress Carrie Deals. And you'll remember the amazing care package that I got, I don't know, maybe a month ago from Spartan Brews Coffee. I put up on all of my social media accounts over Veterans Day that Spartan Brews Coffee, which is veteran owned and operated, they released a purple fleece that they call the Mistress Carrie. And they are donating, I believe it's $5 from the sale of every one of these fleeces. Is it fleeces or fleece, plural? Is it like deer? I don't know. But anyway, they call it Mistress Carrie Purple. And they are making donations to the Massachusetts Military Support Foundation with the purchase of every one. It doesn't have the Mistress Carrie logos on it, but they call it Mistress Carrie Purple, which I love. And what they did was something for you guys. So if you want to support a veteran-owned business, if you're looking for a gift this holiday season to ship to someone because you're not going to see them for the holidays, if you use the code Mistress15, you get 15% off everything you buy. So not only are you supporting a veteran-owned and operated business, but if you buy one of the fleeces, you can also make a donation to the Food for Vets program with the Mass Military Support Foundation. But you're also getting 15% off of everything you buy, which I thought was really cool. And they reached out and said, we want to do this just for Mistress Carrie fans, just for people that listen to the podcast, for people that join you in the War Room every week. So I thought it was really cool. So when companies and organizations offer up discounts for stuff, it's a Mistress Carrie deal, and I want to pass that on to you guys. Um, I let the people know with the Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass about this deal already because they find out about everything first. But I wanted to pass it along to you guys. So if you need to if you're a coffee lover, or if you're looking for cool coffee mugs or their cool swag, or whatever it is that you're looking for, they got some really cool stuff, and I wanted to pass it along. So you don't forget to use the code Mistress15, and yes, you can share the code with your friends. But I just love the fact that they wanted to do something exclusively for us. So you get 15% off of everything you buy, which is awesome. Mail call this week. I got one thing in the mail, and it came in anonymously, so I have no idea who you are, but I can't even tell you. I couldn't open the package fast enough. If you're new to the War Room, mail call every week is when I go through the stuff that people have sent me. And being locked in the house for so much of COVID-19, you guys have kept me laughing with some of the amazing things. You have sent Wednesday so many amazing toys and things in the mail, like the ducking stingray and the shark. And I think her monkey is over here too. And so every week in the mail call, I go through it and show you guys some of the stuff that came in the mail. So one thing came in the mail, but it came in with no return address and no name on it. And holy fucking shit. I love you, whoever sent this to me. They sent me a COVID mask for Christmas. It's covered with pugs. Look at this thing. I can't even handle it. It doesn't have any black pugs on it, so I'm sorry, Wednesday, for excluding you. But it's a black mask, and it has pugs with Santa hats. Look, it's even doing the Wednesday pose where she sticks her butt up in the air and shows everybody her butthole in the War Room. Can you handle this? I can't even handle this. Oh my God. Amanda, I just saw something come up in the comments about the War Room Volunteer Day for Mass Military Support. I reached out to them. I am waiting for them to get back to me. I asked them to let me know if there was a day sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas that they don't have a lot of volunteers signed up, so that they could block that day off, because they're limited to the amount of people that can be in the building because of COVID. And I'm waiting for them to get back to me. I do not know when that day is going to be. I apologize in advance if it's not convenient for everybody. But as soon as I hear back from Mass Military Support Foundation on when we're going to be able to go and pack food boxes, I will let you know as soon as I can. One of the things that people had talked about is us all wearing our War Room t-shirts. And the other thing was, and I know Annie Ange, who already volunteered to come and help us pack boxes, because she is also, so, she's the one that helped pack all the War Room t-shirts in the beginning, but she's also going to help me pack all of the orders that come through on mistresscarrie.com. But we had talked about everybody getting purple wigs so that we could pack boxes in our War Room t-shirts and everybody wearing purple wigs. I already asked Mass Military Support Foundation to get back to me, and I'm waiting for them to get back to me, because I thought it would be amazing if we could pack food boxes for the holidays. And as soon as I get an answer from them, I will let you know. So I thought you guys would think, seriously, I don't know who you are that sent this to me, but I fucking love you, because this made me smile so much. And it just came in this little envelope. Obviously, it came wrapped in plastic and whatever. And I was like, oh my God. So thank you. Danielle, I reached out to the Dicks by Mail people. I sent them all the sponsorship stuff. I got back to them a lot later than I had anticipated that I would. So I don't know if I missed out on a window with them or not, but I did send the Dicks by Mail people all of the sponsorship packages and all the information to sponsor, and they haven't gotten back to me yet. So as soon as they do, I will let you know. We got some birthdays to celebrate. So if today is your birthday, happy birthday. You celebrate your birthday today with Gordon Lightfoot, RuPaul, and Jeff Buckley. So happy birthday. And I also want you guys to wish my friend Sean, who is one of my best friends in the world. Sean built the bucket drum set from Mike Mangini back in the studio, And he also was instrumental in the construction of MCHQ. And his 50th birthday is tomorrow. So happy birthday. He actually, you know what? I got to put this up there. Sean from Bamboozled. Hold on. It's amazing that oh, hold on. See, I love that I can put stuff up on the screen in real time. You guys just have to deal with me. But so my friend Sean has a podcast called Bamboozled.Boston. And it's basically a bunch of music fans that sit around and talk about alcohol and get drunk and talk about booze and how to drink it and where it comes from. And if you are an alcohol connoisseur and you like music, my friend Sean has this amazing podcast called Bamboozled.Boston. And Sean turns 50 tomorrow. And he was so helpful setting up MCHQ that I wanted to wish him a special 50th birthday. So happy birthday to Sean. I love you, you old fuck. So there you go. So thank you guys for the love. I also want to welcome Brian and Tony. They are the latest recipients of Mistress Carrie Backstage Passes on Patreon. And if you don't have one yet, around the holidays, it's something you could ask for. It's also something that you could give somebody else. But it's basically a monthly backstage pass where you get exclusive pictures and I give you guys updates on things, behind the scenes news. You'll also get discount codes for merch in the Mistress Carrie online store. And it's basically a club within a club. And it's like a focus group for me. And it's just awesome. I love the people that have the backstage passes. I love having this little secret group of people that I can tell secrets to before anybody else finds out about it. So if you don't have a Mistress Carrie backstage pass yet, you can go to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie and you can get one. And the person who gets backstage pass number 100, we haven't gotten there yet. I think we're in the 70s right now. When we get to backstage pass number 100, whenever that is, whoever gets it is going to get a pretty cool Mistress Carrie prize pack with some pretty awesome stuff. So go to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie and get yourself a backstage pass. You can find me on social in all of these different places, including Patreon and Cameo, because don't forget, with the holidays coming up, I would love to put on my purple Christmas Santa hat and sing horrible Christmas songs to people, wish people Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year's, Happy Thanksgiving, to anybody that you may love that you live far away from and you want to send them a funny video for the holidays, people's birthdays, people's anniversaries, whatever it is. If you're looking for something non-traditional to send to somebody, I can totally do that on Cameo. So just go to the Cameo app and search Mistress Carrie and I can make a video for you. These episodes of the War Room, if you know somebody that wants to be part of the War Room, but they don't have Facebook, all of the episodes of Cocktails in the War Room get posted after the fact on my YouTube channel, which is right there. And also on Twitter @Mistress Carrie. And obviously you guys know how to find me on Facebook because you're here live with me in the War Room, and on Instagram, Mistress Carrie WAAF. Let's talk about some music headlines. There's some cool stuff. If you listen to the Sit Rep, you heard about a lot of this stuff already. Tower Records is back. I remember waiting when Pantera released Reinventing the Steel and the band did an in-store at the Tower Records in Boston and we broadcast live with the Rock Bus. I got pictures of it. If you remember Tower Records back in the day and waiting in line at midnight for albums when they got released and all of this, or going to buy concert tickets there, Tower Records is back as an online store, and their in-store magazine, that's back too. So it's towerrecords.com. The fact that it took Tower Records, which I believe they closed all their stores in 2006, and now they're back, which I think is really cool. So You can go to towerrecords.com. Did you guys hear the Mammoth WVH song yet? Mammoth was Eddie Van Halen's trio with his brother Alex before Van Halen. That was the name of the band. And Wolfgang grew up hearing stories not only about Van Halen, but also the band that his dad was in before with his uncle. And so Wolfgang Van Halen has come out with a new project called Mammoth WVH, and he released a new single called Distance, which is really good if you haven't heard it yet. The video for the song, if you have not seen it yet, is up on YouTube and you can watch it now. It is all footage of Wolfgang growing up with his dad. And it is gut-wrenching and beautiful and sentimental and sad and so filled with joy. And you can really see Eddie's love for his only son come through in these home movies that they edited into this video for the song. Well, today, the song just came out on Monday, and today, Distance is #1 on the Apple Music chart. So congratulations to Wolfgang Van Halen. And if you haven't checked it out yet, you got to listen to it. GimmeMetal.com is where you can go to download the Gimme Metal app. And they basically are an online metal radio station, and they have just launched Gimme TV, which is a online heavy metal video channel, like what Headbangers Ball used to be on MTV back in the day. So you can go to GimmeMetal.com and you can check that out. I believe you can download their app and then you can watch all their videos. I could not believe this story and could not wait to talk to you guys about it in the War Room. This week, there have been amazing announcements from both Pfizer and Moderna on vaccines for COVID-19, which we all know once these vaccines are available, that is going to be one of the things that allows the world to start trying to go back to whatever normal is going to be. And that is what is going to allow sports to have crowds again, and what is going to allow us to go inside venues and go to concerts again. Back in April, Dolly Parton donated $1 million of her own money to the Vanderbilt Medical Center to help with COVID-19 research. What Vanderbilt Medical Center did with that money was it allowed them to be one of the places that Moderna, which is a Massachusetts company, by the way, Moderna used Vanderbilt Medical Center as one of the places to do their studies and to do the testing and to have human trials. And those trials that were partially funded by the $1 million that Dolly Parton donated helped develop the Moderna vaccine, which they say is 94.5% effective in protecting you and preventing COVID-19. The Pfizer vaccine that got announced last Sunday is 90% effective, and the Moderna vaccine is 94.5% effective. So the fact that $1 million of this research money was given by Dolly Parton makes me think she is fucking amazing. And if you have not watched the documentary about Dolly Parton, which I believe is on Netflix, she is like a spirit animal. Like Dolly Parton and Betty White and a few other women in this world are women that I look at and go, holy fucking shit, you are amazing. What Dolly Parton has been doing, reading bedtime stories to kids through COVID. She has been helping kids get tablets and school books to be able to learn and to be able to go to school at home. And the fact that now, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, the Moderna, I believe it's like $2 billion went into it from the government because they already put in advanced orders for the vaccine to be able to help get everyone in the United States vaccinated. But the fact that Dolly Parton donated $1 million just specifically back in April to help battle this, when we still didn't even know how bad this thing was going to get, and that money can be directly correlated to an actual vaccine. You know what, Dolly? You're fucking amazing. So we need to cheers to Dolly because she's unbelievable. Unbelievable. We love you, Dolly. That's a woman I would love to have on the podcast. Oh my God, that would be awesome. All right, what else did I want to show you guys? I think that was it. I showed you guys the Christmas ornaments coming very soon. I showed you guys my amazing mask. I think that was everything. I told you I had a lot of cool stuff to tell you guys. I know that the next couple of weeks are going to be rough because of the holidays. Do what you can to celebrate in your own way. Organize a giant Zoom call for all of your family while everybody's eating together so that you can have that cross the table banter back and forth. Try not to argue about politics too much. We need to find a way. It's going to get worse before it gets better. We know the vaccines are coming, but we also know that the rates are skyrocketing right now, and you need to find a way to take care of your own mental health and to keep your family together and to protect the ones in your family that are the most vulnerable. But find a way to celebrate the holidays in the best way you can. If it means putting up your holiday decorations early and putting the fucking Christmas lights up before Thanksgiving, do it. If it means listening to the Christmas songs already, do it. Whatever it is, find your joy, find a way to be happy and include the people that love you in that. And if you don't have anybody to celebrate with, if you're planning on being home alone, there's plenty of people here in the WarRoom family that would be more than happy to celebrate with you and to cheer you up, and it's going to be okay. So I know I'm going to be FaceTiming with my husband on Thanksgiving. I don't know what he's going to be able to eat. I'm hoping that they're going to cook them turkeys as he's deployed, for anybody that doesn't know. And having him gone, this is the first Thanksgiving that we're not going to be together since we started dating. Oh, I just messed my hair up. And it's the first Christmas that we're not going to be together as well. And it's our first Thanksgiving or Christmas married, and we're not going to see each other. So we know that we're going to, watch each other online and talk to each other that way. And it takes about a month for him to get his mail. And so I already had to order his presents so that he would have them. So actually, he got the first Mistress Carrie Christmas ornament because when they came in, I sent them to him right away. So he's getting the first one. But I know what it's like to not be able to be with the people that you love more than anything around the holidays, and it sucks. So you've got to do whatever you got to do to be happy and find joy. And, we got to find a way to be happy together. And so do that. Be happy. Celebrate the best you can. And if you're lonely, tell somebody that you're lonely and you need some company. That's hard to do and really hard to say, but you are surrounded by people here in the WarRoom that would totally be there for you. Keith wants to know, how do we get an ornament? MistressCarrie.com, when it launches, we'll have an online store, and it's going to have all kinds of cool stuff in it. And I am working as hard as I can to get the website up as soon as I can, and it's coming. I'm hoping by next week I'll be able to give you an exact release date. But if you have a backstage pass, you're going to find out first. All right, guys, I'm getting ready to get out of here. I'm going to go find Wednesday and go watch another episode of The Crown because I am addicted. All right, guys, cheers. Happy birthday to my friend Sean tomorrow. And don't forget, episode 24 of the Mistress Carrie podcast featuring Morgan Rose from Sevendus launches at midnight.